line 2 towards Kipling.
Hey there, it is Friday, February 16th. The time is 11:50 a.m. and I am here at Castle Frank subway station. That was a westbound line 2 train I was just on. And this is one of the least busy subway stations in the city. I think as of 2019, it ranked 63 out of 75. And for this one, we'll be heading on over through the rather upscale Rosedale neighborhood to another seldom used subway station, and that is Rosedale Station. I think that one ranks 64 out of 75. So this will mostly be a residential walk. And it takes place a day after we got 6.5 centimeters of snowfall. And this way will lead you out to the bus platforms. The station is currently being renovated to accommodate elevators. And that's been going on for about 3 years. I think it's supposed to finish later this year. And it's the same story at Rosedale Station where we're heading. So this will lead us out to Castle Frank Road. And this is Bloor Street East. And there's the Bloor Viaduct. That's the very northeast corner of downtown. And to look west, and this is Rosedale, which sits roughly just north of Bloor Street, south of the CP rail tracks, which run along the north end of the neighborhood, and it's just east of Yonge Street and west of the Don River. And we almost saw a car accident there. I'll have to take a look at what happened, but it looks like someone didn't do a very good job of staying in their lane. All right, so we're gonna head north up Castle Frank. These cars are just coming off of the Don Valley Parkway. It's -2 degrees. It says -9 with the wind chill, but it really doesn't feel all that cold. A lot of these older homes, many of which are mansions, go back as far as the 1860s. And many were built up into the 1940s. There's a home for sale. And this is a private road. It says no authorized entry. No unauthorized entry or parking. Use at your own risk. This is some of the most valuable residential real estate in the city. So these residents would all pay a fee that goes towards the maintenance and I guess snow clearing of the street. Rosedale itself features a number of cul-de-sacs, and there's 3 ravines running through it. It's not really a neighborhood that people use to cut through with their vehicle. There are just 3 city buses that serve Rosedale. And the neighborhood has a population of just under 10,000. I think the median age of those living here is around 50 years old. I've done a number of videos through here before, but I don't know if I've ever covered this part along the stretch of Castle Frank. There's an apartment building at 36 Castle Frank Road. I did read online the cost of living in this neighborhood is about 67% more expensive than the rest of the city. And housing here is 266% more than the national average. And I'm guessing apartments like this really weigh that down. There's a much more modest house. There are a number of notable celebrities and famous residents in this neighborhood. But Canadians don't seem to make a big deal of that sort of thing like they do in the States. There's no Hollywood-style tour of the stars here. Although pretty much everyone knows where Drake's mansion is, up in the bridle path. All right, so this is becoming Hawthorne Gardens. interesting, they have a French flag. There's the Craigley Gardens, that'll lead into a park.
Have you seen it?
It says, let this living maple tree be a tribute to Canadians who served in World War II. And there is a ginormous estate property. So we're now heading west. There's some massive driveways in front of those homes there. We'll see if I can spot a for sale sign. And we can look up what the house is going for. There's one being renovated. All right, this is South Drive coming up. It's a small apartment. I wonder if most people here drive who live in this apartment. It doesn't have the best transit connection, and you're not exactly walkable to a supermarket or that sort of thing. Hey, we found a house for sale. 79 Elm. And this is Glen Road coming up. And just south of here, you would have been able to connect to a bridge that would take you into downtown, into the St. Jamestown neighborhood, but that pedestrian bridge is currently being replaced. Oh, someone hasn't cleared off their sidewalk. have spotted a bus, the 75 Sherburne bus. All right, this is Dunbar Road. Let's head north up here. I'm going to have to cross over Mount Pleasant Road at some point. I think if I go this way, we won't have to do an at-grade crossing. There'll be an overpass we can take. Mount Pleasant's kind of a busy arterial road. I can't tell if that's a modern Land Rover or not. Land Rover Defender. It's definitely got a retro look to it. I'm sure someone's already typing in their comment below what exactly it is. This neighborhood definitely feels like it's more old money than, say, Forest Hill or the Bridle Path. So this is Crescent Road I'm now on, and this, if I go straight, will take us all the way to Rosedale subway station. I just managed to get what we call in Canada a soaker. It's when water gets through your footwear and makes your foot wet. I was hoping to get away without wearing boots today. It's an enormous property. Well, there's a pair of them here. Very fancy post office box. Smile for the camera. I guess there wasn't too much NIMBY opposition back in the day when these apartments went up. A lot of them look to be from the 60s and 70s. NIMBY's a cancer on cities since the beginning of time. There's the Rosedale Moore Park Community Association. Moore Park is a wealthy neighborhood that sits just north of Summer Hill, which is just north of Rosedale. Although I think officially it might be something like Rosedale Moore Park, Summer Hill. You can see the north end of downtown towards the fancy Yorkville neighborhood. There's Mount Pleasant. And that's a proper road for the most part. It'll whisk you from the north end of downtown up to Midtown. Doesn't really slow down or become Strode-like until you're north of Davisville. I think this street here is Wrentham Place. I have a friend who used to live on this street. And if I keep going to the subway station, this video will be a little on the short side. So we'll head up to one of the nicest parts of Rosedale. He used to live here, and I helped him move out of their basement apartment. They got evicted because the owner said their kids were moving in. He also commented that nearly daily you'd almost get run over by SUVs blowing stop signs and going way too fast in this neighborhood. Certainly something I could believe. So we're going to head up through Chestnut Park. And like Palmerston Avenue on the west end, it features these beautiful lampposts. See, very picturesque street. Oh, we found a home for sale. Do we have a street number? 82, Chestnut Park. That's probably 4 or 5 million. There's a house that's been completely redone. And this is the street where Chestnut Park Realty takes its name from. You'll see their signs up on front lawns all over this neighborhood, as well as the nearby Summer Hill and Moore Park and Yorkville. And I'm pretty sure I've seen them all around Forest Hill. Just north of here, there is the Summer Hill Market. So there is some retail nestled in amongst all this residential space, but not a whole lot of it. I might be way off, but that kind of reminds me of the house where the Bowers lived on Who's the Boss. I'm sure someone's Googling that right now and thinking, oh, you are way off. Is this Clooney Drive right here? I believe it is. So we can take this straight down to Crescent Road, and then we'll be able to pop into Rosedale Station. If you were to isolate these homes here, you would never guess we were in Rosedale, unless you were super familiar with them, I guess. I'm sure they're still worth a fortune. And just to the west here, that'll spit you out onto Yonge Street. There's a pretty neat view of the north end of downtown. And here's a contractor who has completely blocked off the sidewalk. Good job. There's some gorgeous homes down that way. In the summertime, as nice as this neighborhood is, and I guess for much of the spring and fall as well, a daytime walk around here will be not as calm or pleasant as you might think. There's usually a chorus of landscaping machinery that you have to put up with. One thing you'll notice about this neighborhood is not a lot of pedestrian activity. I think the vast majority of people just simply take a car, whether driving themselves or using a car service. And we've made it just about to Rosedale Station, which opened back in 1954. And much like Castle Frank is currently having elevator access installed, something that is long overdue. You could head down into a park on that walkway there. Get a pretty neat look at the subway tracks. This is currently a speed restricted zone. The TTC from here up to Eglinton is unbearably painful these days. There's a number of speed restrictions. The trains absolutely lurch along. What should be a quick trip is more than doubled in length. They say, I think, 2/3 of the slowdowns are to be resolved soon, but they did a really poor job communicating it and advertising that they're even implemented. Well, it's not something the conductors usually advise riders of. Now it's off to the northbound platform. As a southbound train rolls in. And here comes my train. So on that note, I hope you enjoyed this one, walking around the fancy Rosedale neighborhood after a snowfall. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below, and you can see an example of the pathetic speeds these trains are taking as this one crawls into the station. I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing down below if you wish to say thanks that way. And in maybe about 10 hours, I will slowly roll home. Well, probably a little quicker than that, but thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you on the next one. Yoink!
Towards Greenwich. Please stand clear of the doors.